It's zip lining. That was fun.
Oh, you
First time.
did it?
Oh, yeah.
You went ziplining?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Nice.
Did you go Superman?
No, no,
Oh.
no. Hey,
It was first time. Here we go. Over.
Okay, yeah,
Whenever you want, yes.
okay. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order and say welcome to our guests here tonight. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please?
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that this meeting be opened at 7 p.m.
All in favor? Carried. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda?
Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that the agenda presented to council and dated the 9th day of June 2026 be adopted as presented.
All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest in general nature thereof? We'll move forward. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the previous minutes?
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor McInnes, that the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 26, 2026, and special meeting of council June 4th, 2026 be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? Gary? Any presentations and delegation?
None for this evening?
Any questions?
None for this evening?
Next, we have the staff reports. Report for the deputy clerk with respect to the surplus assets.
I will present on part, and then the Public Works Manager can speak on the Public Works assets.
Okay.
This report was brought forward after a comment from a Lions Club member thinking that they owned the ducks that are used for the Canada Day duck race. So in doing that, we had discussions among staff and some of the committee from the Recreation and Fitness Committee, because this is always ticket sales. Over lottery, the township is not allowed to hold lottery events that way. So it started way back when, which was, I believe, called the Bonfield Minor Centennial Sports Committee, where they would hold the duck race, and then with those proceeds would give back to the Recreation Committee for events, activities for the kids, and they also sponsored children for hockey and things like that through their own committee. The committee kind of disbanded in the early 2010s, I guess, 2013. And at that time, the Agricultural Society kind of took over it every year. A couple of years ago, they didn't have enough volunteers to do it, so the Lions Club took over, and they've been holding it ever since. Every year, ducks go missing. They disappear down the river, and we had bought a surplus back in 2017, I believe, to replenish those. But it was just basically recommended that we don't use them, so maybe we should give them to the Lions with an agreement that if any other organization would like to borrow them to have a race of their own or something, then we could come into that understanding, and the Lions Club would basically take ownership of them. So that's my recommendation, is that we speak with members of the Lions Club and see if this is what they want to do, and then they would take ownership, and it would not be an asset to the township moving forward. So my recommendation is that. Let the Public Works Manager speak on the other items that are surplus as well.
We've got some exercise equipment sunshade. So when the township ordered the exercise equipment in 2021-22, a sunshade was also purchased. Sunshade was to go over the entire space to provide shade when participants were actively using the equipment. In 2024, the manufacturing company installed the required poles, but ran out of time to install the shade before winter. They were to return in 2025, but they did not, despite many calls. Late 2025, they did indicate that they would allow the municipal staff to install without affecting any warranty. It was then learned that the structure had to be removed during the winter season and can't hold any snow load. So essentially, we would have to put it up and take it down every single year. That being said, we'd have to rent a scissor lift or hire a contractor with a bucket truck to do so. That is why it's recommended to surplus it. We've also got a set of case forks and I'd say makeshift ditching bucket that was purchased for the 2 case backhoes that were previously owned here. The forks do not fit any piece of equipment that we currently have here. The ditching bucket, or what's left of it, doesn't fit any piece of equipment that we own either. So recommendations to get rid of those 2 pieces and list them on. Actually, I'll leave that for you.
Okay, there's also 2 photocopiers that we used to have, one black and white, one color, that still have a number of years, but the lease was done on them. And we had to upgrade those to meet the software and all of the, I'm sorry, I'm losing the word, but
Cartridges.
the cartridges and everything, we would have to pay for those and things like that. And networking and things, all of those have to be upgraded. So we entered into a new lease that is actually cheaper than keeping the other 2 photocopiers. And it's also suggested that these be put on Gov Deals. They would be declared as assets and then put on Gov Deals so that we could sell them. So the case forks, the ditching bucket will go as tenders to the highest bidder, and the ducks will go to the Lions Club, and the photocopiers and the sunshade will go on Gov Deals.
Well,
Nope.
No.
I'm just saying.
Can we trade the ducks and all of those for a fire truck?
Yeah, even Steven.
Depends on the water's in the depths.
We could try, but I don't see maybe a toy truck.
Yeah. The only question I have is on that sunshade, I believe it was purchased partially through a grant through NOHFC. Have we checked if we're fine to dispose of the asset, or if it's going to affect that granting contract at all?
I don't believe it will, because we had to pay part of that, like we invested a sum of money, percentage, I can't remember what the percentage was.
Probably a third.
Probably a third, but we can look into it to make sure.
Mhm. Yes, please.
And see?
Before you surplus that. I
Okay.
think it would be important to check that.
Those are tough to put up too. It's not just
It doesn't look too easy, I'll be honest.
yeah, it's not just a scissor lift. Like they're pulled super tight. Like I've seen people install them and they're using like tools to crank them to tighten them, because it's not just a simple up and click, because then they flex in the wind and they'll bend your posts and stuff. So it's not an easy task to install those things.
Why do you think they didn't do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but I get it for sure.
so do we have a motion? Do we have a mover and a seconder?
So we will have 2 motions, one for the ducks and then
Okay,
the other one for the other equipment.
very
Okay,
good.
so I'll go with the first one for the ducks.
How many ducks?
Probably 500. 493?
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't see whom,
Motion, yeah.
Yeah. Partner and I, you know.
moved by Councillor Featherstone, seconded by Councillor McInnes, that council receive the report regarding the ownership and future use of the Canada Day duck race ducks, and that council declare the Canada Day duck race ducks as surplus municipal assets, and further that council authorize the donation of the ducks to the Bonfield Lions Club, subject to an agreement between the Township of Bonfield and the Bonfield Lions Club, allowing the township and any local organization the use of the ducks for future municipal events and activities when requested.
All in favor? Gary? We have one more motion.
Yes.
Move on a seconder.
Moved by Councillor Corbett, seconded by Councillor McInnes, that council declare the following as surplus items: exercise equipment sunshade, photocopiers, case forks, and ditching bucket, and that the exercise equipment sunshade and photocopiers be listed on GovDeals, and that the case forks and ditching bucket be offered through tender, prepared and advertised on the website, with the highest bids awarded the forks and ditching buckets.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have report from Public Works with respect to the single surface treatment, Development Road.
Thanks. So in 2023, the township tendered for the application of double surface treatment on Development Road. This was a 4-kilometer stretch. It started at line 3 and went all the way to South Shore Road. It was given a double surface treatment application once again in 2023, and in 2024 there was warranty work carried out by the initial contractor. So currently Public Works is looking to apply a single surface application, so not a double, just one single to top coat this 4 kilometers of Development Road. A single surface application has a proposed lifespan of 7 to 10 years. In some instances, with proper installation maintenance, the additional single surface, now this is being applied within the 3 to 5 years of the double, can reach a lifespan of up to 20 years. The additional application of tar and chip will not only extend the lifespan of the roadway, but help to address such issues that we've seen, such as deterioration, cracks, unevenness, and finally improve the overall visual appeal and functionality of the surface. Given Development Road is a main route of travel for many residents and receives a high daily traffic count, it's believed that this additional single surface application is highly suggested. This year, the township has issued RFQs for both tar and chip applications, so 1 kilometer of Development Road from Rutherglen Line to Farmers Line, as well as approximately 50 meters on Sunnyside at the East Ferris boundary, and a pavement application for Trunk Hill and Gagnon. As I'm sure most of the residents are aware, those 2 sections of road are currently still under construction. Trunk Hill is approximately 600 meters of pavement application, as well as Gagnon is about 600 meters. An additional quote was received from the successful bidder to complete the 4 kilometers of single surface application on Development Road. For this 4K of roadway, the attached quote price for Miller Paving was $575 a meter squared. Total area for this project was 29,200 meters squared, with a total price tag of $167,900.
So we have a motion for that. We have a mover and a seconder. Did anybody have any discussion or?
That 167, that was, we have that in the budget, right?
Correct, yes. Yeah. So I believe it
It
might
falls
be,
within the budget.
yeah.
This is just standard appropriate process when doing
Yeah,
chip seal,
yep.
tar chip.
Yeah, essentially like
Yeah.
in 3 to 5 years of your initial, you should be doing a third
Top
coat,
coat.
just
Just to get
single,
20
not a
years
double,
out of it.
right? So
That's great value.
Okay. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Corbett, that council read and review this report pertaining to the application of a single surface treatment tar and chip on 4 kilometers of Development Road line from line 3 to South Shore Road.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the Emergency Services Committee. We have the minutes in our package. Can we have a mover and a seconder, please?
And I believe the fire chief is here to present his report as well.
Oh, he's on here.
Yeah, he's on here.
Sorry. Okay, if,
Do you want to do the motions
yeah,
first
we'll
or
do the
present his
motion and
report?
then,
Do the motions?
yeah.
Okay. Moved by Councillor McInnes, seconded by Councillor Clark, whereas the fire chief recommends to council to hire Celia Bird to the rank of probationary firefighter for the Bonfil Volunteer Fire Department, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carried. Hi, Sean, are you here to give us an update on everything?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, Mayor Paquette and Council. I want to thank you so much for approving the motion of promoting firefighter Cecilia Bird to the rank of probationary firefighter. That now brings our count up to 20. And we have a couple more that, with your blessing later on this year, will bring us up to almost 24 by the end of the year for our total count of personnel. In my report for the Emergency Services Committee, I drafted a points report. I read it to the council, to my committee last meeting. We had some discussion on it as Councillor Featherstone was present and he is aware of the report. We had some discussion on the report. If council has any questions on the report, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have on that report.
Anybody have any questions? No?
No.
I mean, we-
I mean, the only thing it was your firefighters, they're good with the new point system?
I still have a couple that are questioning the new point system, and I'm trying to explain to them. And I've got the report, and I said to them I will show them the report to kind of ease their mind, because in their perspective, that they're getting less points. But I've explained to them it's not all about the points; it's all about the point value of each point has increased. So therefore, if each value of each point is increased, then the total compensation package increases as well. But some members are still having a hard time adjusting to that. So it's still in ongoing talks with some of those firefighters to ease their minds, to answer any questions that they may have. So I've got the report. I said to them I'd be more than willing to show them the report, discuss any questions they have based on the report, and then and we can go from there. But for the most part, it's kind of a lot of the firefighters are, because they weren't around for the previous point system. Like they've only been on most of them for about a year. So they weren't on previous that where this point system was in place for quite a while. So I was in talks with the CAO, and she's going to come one Monday night, and between her and myself, we're going to discuss the draft point system this month. And I'm going to answer any questions that the firefighters may have based on the new point system.
So just to be clear, this is documentation. We had not documented anything about the point system for our organization. So we're now, trying to be transparent. So we're documenting, we're benchmarking against other municipalities and what they are doing, so that we're not making things up. We're looking to see what the best practice is, right?
That is correct. Yes, Councillor Clark.
Right,
Yes, that is
right.
correct. Yes.
And the actual budget doesn't change. It's just how it's administered within
That's
that.
correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Oh,
Thank you.
No more questions, Sean, but I would like to say, I didn't get there first thing on Saturday morning, but I did manage to get in there and get my yearly car wash. So I was pretty happy to see everybody was happy there, and they were driving in to get their car washed. And if I could take just a moment to tell you something that happened. I went into the grocery store And I came out with my groceries and came behind the car and this is not my car. I thought it was somebody else's. It was so clean. So I always like going there and they cleaned my car pretty good. And I know there was a lot of other people too. It was nice to see the public there with them and they were selling popcorn and that floss candy and stuff. So it was nice to see them participating in a good day and the people were out there for it. And thank you very much for your report.
You're welcome, Your Worship.
I have a motion to accept the point system.
Okay. On the next one, is that the emergency, the first one?
Yes, the second motion in the Emergency Services Committee.
Oh, the second motion.
Yeah,
Do it before the first one?
we did the first one.
Okay, I didn't check that one. All right. Next, we have a mover and a seconder for that one then.
Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Corbett. Whereas the Emergency Services Committee received the fire chief's recommendation to implement the new firefighter point system for the Bonfield Volunteer Fire Department. And whereas the committee recommends to council to approve this new point system effective July 1st, 2026, be it hereby resolved that council approves of this recommendation.
All in favor? Carried. Next, we have the Corporate Services Committee. Do we have a motion for that?
No.
No? Any questions?
Yeah, Your Worship, if I could, and with your indulgence and council's indulgence, I forgot to ask at the beginning of the agenda, I would like to have a quick conversation about calcium on South Shore Road. It's not going to come to us as a surprise to the Public Works Manager because I've had conversations with them. So are you okay if I let me just continue and then we'll see if council's okay. So heard some feedback from residents on South Shore Road that we typically do a single down the middle pass of calcium. And let me start by, this is the earliest I think we've ever had it done. So hats off to Alex and the crew. This is fantastic work. So typically that single run down the middle as opposed to edge, which is a cost-saving measure. We spend $50,000 a year as a municipality on calcium, which is astronomically more expensive than it used to be for the same thing. So Alex is working hard within the budget that council has set. I'm wondering if council would consider asking the Public Works Manager for a report, and it's not a lengthy one, but the traffic count on South Shore and whether or not it would be recommended based off traffic count and safety, if it is a busy road, whether or not that gets an edge-to-edge application. Obviously, that would come with some financial commitment on behalf of council that we would have to consider if Alex could potentially bring that back to us as well. If the traffic count, the last thing I want to do is look like we're doing anything willy-nilly, because that is counter to what this, I can't believe I used the word willy-nilly in a council meeting, but that is counter to, yeah, right. That's counter to how this council is operated. So I would want it to be based off of some level of science and fact and numbers and justification. And if the numbers warrant it, fair. I know that we do a double, like an edge-to-edge on development due to traffic count. So if we have rationale, we have reasonings, and if that rationale and reasonings applies to South Shore based off traffic counts or other criteria that we use, is that something that council would consider, at least just receiving the report for future consideration?
So go ahead. No, you go ahead. No.
Well, there are other roads too where people are asking about it, so you'll have to think about that for sure.
Yeah, sorry, if I could just the one second, yeah, if I could, I agree, which is why I want to make sure that if we are making a decision to do any extra service on a road such as South Shore, that it is based off traffic count, it is based off rationale, not just because. I mean, we are spending $50,000 a year, so it is a balance. We'd love all roads to be calciumed edge to edge. It's just unfortunately the balance that as a municipality unfortunately has to run, and we set a $50,000 budget, but
The other thing you have to balance out is, I'm sure the public works manager has it scheduled out, like those truckloads only go so far. And if you add us edge to edge, now do we have to bring another truckload for,
Yeah, for sure.
and then we're spending $15,000 on a truckload just because we want to do an edge to edge on one road.
All great things that I don't have the information
no,
of, and I would just love
It,
to learn
it just,
more
like I
about.
said, I'm
Yeah.
sure Alex has got it worked out, that his 4 loads cover this much and that takes the whole 4
I
loads.
see he's got his hand up. We might get the whole report right now, because he probably knows it off the top of his head, so.
So I, when they did my road, went out and it is right down the middle, which actually works really well on our road. And in some places it's wider and in some places it goes right to the edge, it looks like, so.
It should, because the
Well,
spray
it-
bars are so wide.
Yeah, I guess maybe because of and when it rains, it spreads out.
So essentially, what's happened with development, right? Development's edge to edge. It was based off A, traffic count, B, the sheer volume of residents that live on the road, right? So
House density.
there is multiple residents next door to each other, whereas
Yep.
South Shore, there is 3 residents and then absolutely nothing,
Right.
right? So that being said, I understand where some residents might want more material in front of their house. I totally understand that. I know how Mayor Paquette brought up that there's other people as well. I have heard from some other people. One of those roads being Grand Desert at the corner of Blue Sea due to the truck traffic coming from the pit. I actually it's funny you mentioned having stuff planned out because I had a conversation with a resident today that was actually complaining about calcium and how it hasn't been applied yet. And I said that we're at the mercy of the contractor. Once again, so I had a load of calcium booked for tomorrow. Tomorrow's supposed to rain all day, so it's a little counterproductive to put down that money to watch it wash away like we saw during the storm. That being said, with the calcium application, right, I've got it, so it's approximately here, we've got almost 12 kilometers per tank on a truck, which is, I believe, just under $15,000 by the time we're done one truckload. So, judging by what I currently have worked out for, our calcium schedule, no, we'll have to essentially purchase some more calcium if this is something we'd like to do. Now, that being said, I can come back with some options or we can go through them now. But anyways, I just want to let that be known that I understand that there's a complaint on South Shore. There's also been a couple other complaints. One of the complaints that was received today is from someone on Gay Road, which we haven't even made it back there yet to apply calcium. Like I said, you guys can blame me all you want, but it is the contractor that applies the calcium. We don't make and mix calcium in-house and apply it.
And another thing is, it has been so dry that even when you do a calcium application, it's not suppressing the dust like it should, because you need some moisture in the road from the sky to the road to, activate the calcium to spread. And
so that's where I was going to come back to Pine Lake, right?
Yeah.
So Pine Lake was freshly graded that morning to fluff it up, to allow the calcium to penetrate, the aggregate there. We did have to bring the water truck down and water the road edge to edge. So because the calcium wouldn't bind essentially because it was so dry and dusty.
So that's why it looks like.
So, and that's why you'll see in certain sections of the roadway, it almost looks like it's turned like dark gray or a black, right? And it's kind of flat and matted down, right? That's the calcium essentially absorbing all the moisture from the roadway.
And it depends what the road base is. Like, you're gonna get that black look a lot more on clay-based roads where it holds the moisture, so the calcium really works all the time. As where a sandy road base, the calcium just kind of sinks in and dissipates.
So here's the balance I'm trying to create is obviously if we spend 50,000 a week, again, this isn't the public works manager. The public works manager has a budget that he has to live within and he's doing his job. So for anybody who's contacting our public works manager to complain not enough calcium, just understand it's not him. He's doing the best he can with the tools that he has available to him. So obviously the Cadillac model would be edge to edge everywhere. Well, then we'd have to double the budget. So that's $100,000 a year. An additional, $100,000 a year. So it'd be an additional $50,000. I don't think that is super sustainable, but if there is areas of town that with based on fact, based on recommendations, that it would be fruitful for council to consider. I would ask that you bring that forward as opposed to the other way around, which is we set a strict budget, you have to live within it. But if we're not meeting a level of service that you think would be good, I'd like to know that as well. On roads based off traffic counts, based off house density, based off of all of those things that you just mentioned. I would just like to know kind of that conversation as well.
Alex, can I confirm that you have done the traffic counts before you put the calcium out? You pretty well know where the majority of the traffic is,
For the
right?
most part, yes. So I've got some past data to go off of. We actually, in the past had traffic counters that were affixed to the roadway that did vehicle counts. That's pretty much the traffic count data that I've been going off of. As well as like Councillor Corbett said, you know, population density for the area, how close the homes are, and more so like how frequently that road's traveled, right? So, I mean, in a perfect world, I'm sure every single resident would love roads edge to edge, but like Councillor Corbett said, that comes with a overall budget increase, right? So, I mean, I have no problems putting together a report with some of the locations where A, we've either got complaints, or B, in the past could have used a bit more calcium. That's not an issue at all.
If I can encourage you not to make it complaints based, because I don't want this to be a complaints based, that just because somebody calls, we're going to give them better service terms than somebody else. It has to be based off of recommendations due to traffic count and all of those different things, as opposed to a complaint. So if it's warranted and recommended, that's a conversation I would like to have at the council table. For sure.
And I think, for budgeting purposes next year, is that we should be, we should be purchasing speed radar signs that count the cars on them, so we have an accurate traffic count, because,
There is, I'll be honest, there is some data that doesn't.
right,
make
the
sense
data,
on
I
the
don't trust
computer.
any of the data that
There's
we
some,
have.
there are some counts that are older, but since the population's gone up here, but there are some counts that say, it'll say, and I believe this is because the sensors were spaced not at the right distance, but it'll say there was approximately 400 motorcycles that went down this road, right? I mean, I think we all know that unless there was a bike run that weekend, I don't.
Could have been. We've had them.
Right?
So, yeah.
Between,
I think it's gonna be a good purchase if we get, the traffic counter, speed signs next year, a couple of them, so Alex can start doing his own road counts. Then they're accurate moving forward.
And they'd be the ones that we can move around.
Yes. Yeah, they're like $4,000 a piece.
We did accurate counts before with like a wire that went across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But if they're not installed correctly, then you get false readings. And like I said, none of the historical data is that reliable.
Alex, do you, in the traffic counts, do you do that every year? And have you
No.
found,
No.
because I was going to ask if you found that it seems like the traffic has increased a lot.
So the latest data I found was from 2001, 2002. The earliest, I believe, was from 2021, 2022. That being said, like if you do a comparison of the roadways, there's a big difference in traffic numbers. Like the traffic's definitely increased throughout the township. But no, it hasn't been a yearly basis.
And we did a roads needs study, but they do a sample size, so they'll sample some of the roads and they guesstimate on the other roads for the traffic volume. So it is, it's a good investment for us to purchase down the road, purchase these signs to
Can you-
do our own.
Get some of that information from MTO or
No.
so there looked to have been somebody counting the traffic on.
So that would be from the MTO, right?
Yeah.
That would be probably because they're either expanding the laneway, like the turning laneway on Highway 17 at Pine Lake, because I saw that.
Yeah,
pin to the ground
I
there.
was surprised too.
Or they're just trying to get a accurate number of, you know what I mean? How many vehicles are coming off the highway through that section of roadway, right? But no, I personally don't have any access to that data.
it's also good conversations to have
Mhm.
in the future. How do we increase your ability to get that numbers? What do you need? How do you?
Well, we did see some equipment at Good Roads that looked and very reasonable. I think that if we could get it in the budget. I was also looking to see if we could get economy of scale, if our neighbors would like the same thing. We could get a good price if we bought 10, you know, so. And then we could mark it up and get ours for free.
I like it. The rest of the municipalities probably won't like it.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Next, we have a resolution to be considered for adoption. Rockin' Horse Riding Association has made a donation request. Mover and a seconder. Please.
Moved by Counselor Corbett, seconded by Counselor Featherstone, whereas the Rocking Horse Riding Association has submitted a donation request application in support of their youth programming, be it hereby resolved that council approves a donation of
I think 200, that would get us into the silver category.
200,
I'm good with that.
okay, 200,
$200.
yes, please. All in favor? Carried. Okay, next we have correspondence. And could I have a mover and a seconder to accept the correspondence?
Moved by Counselor McInnes, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that council receives this correspondence circulated with the agenda of June 9th, 2026, and further that council supports the following items.
Okay,
Any
any
for support?
suggestion?
Nope.
Not for this one, for me anyways.
And further that, well, I won't read the, because nothing's been supported, so
I would
So-
like to support F.
F.
It's an establishment of the Northern Ontario Policing Grant.
Okay. I will make sure to include that.
Anybody else? Any, no?
Nope. Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Next, we have no closed session.
No.
The confirmatory bylaw. A mover and a seconder, please.
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor Corbett, that the council for the Township of Bonfield hereby adopts bylaw 2026-28 to confirm the proceedings of council from May 26, 2026 to June 9th, 2026, as presented, and is considered read 3 times and passed this 9th day of June 2026.
All in favor? Carried. Does anybody want to do the next motion? Could I have a mover and a seconder for the adjournment?
Moved by Counselor Clark, seconded by Counselor McInnes, that this meeting be adjourned at 7:36 PM.
All in favor? Carried. So this closes our meeting. I'd like to say thank you for coming to our meeting this evening.
Andre, I wasn't put on the agenda.
I didn't receive any notice that
I
you were.
talked to you. Said yes, put me on. You called me on last Tuesday.